Okay, welcome back. I realize it's been a while since I've uploaded anything, but things get in the way. I've actually finished this model now, and found out that I had a video that I hadn't sort of put out. So I wanted to talk a little bit about alphas and my sort of stance on them at the moment, because, like I said, I haven't used that many, and the ones that I have used have been the Chaos Masons ones, simply because I wanted to use it for speed. But this project has been anything but fast, partly because I've been trying to learn ZBrush too, and it's just been a long process. But one of the things I really miss about doing my own sort of art pieces is the getting in there with the details, into that space of just relaxing, putting on some music, and just going, all out with you, just drawing details and just finishing the piece to a high level. Um, and I think these 3D programs now with the masking is so good. I don't really think you need many alphas at all, especially when it comes to taking the time, to actually do it by hand. And that's the only thing. It takes time. And I know alphas are there for a reason, to speed up your workflow, and that's fine. If you're in a environment like in production or something, you've got to do that. You got to, time is very precious. I know that, but I'm not. I'm just trying to make models and get better at this, 3D stuff. So I figured I'm not going to use alphas, maybe on the next couple of projects that I do, just simply to help me get better at the fucking masking and things like that. So, uh, you know, I I was looking at other things as well, as well as the alphas, like taking the model into other software, to texture it and paint it and things like that. And I was just thinking, how much do you really need it? Because these packages, once you start collecting them, amount to a good penny. So it's a lot of money, if you say like what I'm working on here with these creases, you could probably do a pass in like Marvelous or something like that, uh, and just to get some creases, some of the main creases, like across the toe area and things like that, where you get a lot of flex. But I just feel that even if you do, pants or tops or anything like that, in Marvelous, I feel like it always needs a load of work as well. Um, and I'm just going by what I've watched, on other videos. I've never actually used it myself. I have used some cloth physics in Blender, and I think I played around with it a little bit when I started to use ZBrush, but they're not things that I would ever use. I prefer to do it myself, but like I said, I've got the time, so that's a luxury that I know a lot of people that do this professionally don't have. So that's just my sort of 2 cents. I think if you have the time like me and you're trying to get better at sculpting, then doing it by hand is the best option. If you've got a load of reference and some stuff to listen to, for me, there's just no better feeling than just getting lost in the work like this. I really, really love it. This is my zen. Just going for hours on end, just working on a model. So yeah, it's no, I'm just looking at what I was doing there. Um, Obviously, like these parts of where I'm working here is like where the material joins the base of the shoe. So you're going to get a lot of pinch in there in the material. Some of these things aren't particularly realistic, but they are shapes that I like. They appeal to me, and I think that's what I'm going to try working on more in 3D is push the things I like as opposed to their real world appearance. Hopefully, I'm still able to do enough to for people to recognize what it is that I'm sculpting. So I think I've done enough work with these creases for you to see that they're actual material creases. And I think if this was going to be a more matte material, then I would have gone a bit softer with the creases. But this is going to be highly reflective material, so I can kind of go pretty deep with some of these creases. And maybe almost make them kind of like cut lines. That's what I was thinking. But what is a good approach as well when you're doing creases is to do it on a layer. I mean, I like using layers anyway in 2D as well. So I use them quite a bit in 3D. So I'll go pretty bold, and then once I'm done, I'll dial back the layer just to see which layer of opacity I like. I mean, you could even do say a couple of layers and then stack them. That's a pretty good approach. But I think with this one, I don't think I used a layer. I think I just kind of went in and just started to doodle and kind of like what I was getting. And I think a bit further on in the process, I was using a couple more brushes. This is just literally the damn standard, positive and negative. Like I would I would make a mark and then I would reverse it, and kind of like bring it out on the outside of it just to give it depth. But yeah, I've just been looking at my process, and when I was looking at alphas, I never really looked at alphas for clothing much, simply because I like to sculpt um, those details because it's a good what I'm trying to achieve with these models is closer to my 2D stuff, so even if I'm drawing a character in a static pose, I want to kind of convey some kind of movement, like they've just moved, and that gives you um, a good opportunity to play with the gesture. And sometimes you have to exaggerate, not only the pose but also the the clothes, and the folds and things like that. So I really want to kind of design the folds more and make them a real feature in the work. So that's something I'm going to look at moving forwards. But I'll talk about more about that kind of thing when I've finished the model, and I'll post up some renders of the final character maybe next week or something, whenever I get a chance to do the video. But like I said, this thing has just dragged on because I've been trying to, well, do other things as well, my job, and just life kind of gets in the way. I can't do videos whenever I want and artwork, but learning ZBrush has not been as arduous as I thought it would be. I think I heard too many horror stories at the beginning saying that this thing was just so hard to learn. And I think partly spending all that time in Blender. Sorry, I can't speak. Um, Sort of prepped me for this, so I kind of knew what to expect. But really enjoying ZBrush. I think it's just because it feels so much like digital drawing for me. Um, I know that's probably not what sculptors want to hear, but that's what I can kind of relate to the software. It just feels really natural. But it doesn't matter in the end. I mean, if you're sculpting in Blender, you can do this. And now I'm probably a little bit more knowledgeable about how to work with a lower resolution as well. Because before I was trying to make everything so high res, and it gets so heavy so quickly. Even this model, I think in the end it finished on maybe high 180 million, something like that, which is too much. I want to keep it below that. Um, Maybe kind of just over 100 million if I can. So I'm really gonna sort of pay attention to that. Where the camera is gonna be and how far away, because the smaller you can make these file sizes, the better. But yeah, that's pretty much it, to be honest. I just wanted to have a little chat about these alphas because I feel that the more alphas you use on a model, I just feel like it's just too much of an injection of somebody else, and that might not be a bad thing, but for me it's like I've got the time, so I should do it myself, and just stick 100% to the the designs. Thinking about the design decisions that I'm making, and it's me, it's not anybody else on the model. And I'm not saying you should never use alphas. Of course, I'm going to use them at some point. Like when I'm doing a character, there's no way I'm going to be punching in pores and things like that by hand. I'm not crazy, but I just feel like I should tone it down and do things with masking as much as possible. Anyway, I've talked enough on that. So I'll see you soon with the finished renders of the model, and we can move on. Thank you for watching.